Every week, I go through what's new in AI, specifically the stuff that actually matters for B2B marketers. Here's what stood out this week. OpenAI is now valued at $300 billion. They just raised $40 billion, which is a lot, enough to keep building fast, buying GPUs, and pulling further ahead. But the more interesting part is they're planning to open source one of their language models. First time they've done it in a while. If you're in B2B marketing, that could eventually mean more flexibility. Maybe even the ability to run a smaller, decent model on your own infrastructure. No API costs, no sending sensitive data to a third party. That means more control. We're not there yet, but it's a signal of where things might be heading. Number 2, ChatGPT's image generation just got a ton better. This has been something I have loved playing with. They've upgraded the image generator inside of ChatGPT. It's no longer called Dolly. It's just images in ChatGPT now, and it's powered by their new model, ChatGPT 4o. The quality is noticeably better. It understands prompts more accurately. It can finally handle text inside images, like actual usable mockups, and it's a lot faster. They also removed a bunch of restrictions. You can now generate images of public figures, branded content, and other things that used to be blocked. This opens up some interesting possibilities. You can sketch out visuals for a campaign idea, mock up a landing page concept, or explore different visual angles before sending anything to design. With that said, just because you can generate something doesn't mean you should. Be smart. There are still legal and ethical lines to think about. Number 3. Google's AI answers are rolling out across Europe. Google is expanding its AI overviews, those little answer boxes powered by Gemini, into 9 more countries in Europe. They're starting to show up at the top of the search results, even without users opting into the Search Labs experiment. This matters because the way people find information, it's changing. If your content is well structured and trusted, it might show up in those AI summaries. But if the summary already answers their question, they might never click through to your website. That's a shift that you have to account for. It puts more pressure on content to be clear, factual, and genuinely useful. Not just optimized for keywords. It also means we're entering an era of the AI search engine, whether or not we call it that. Number 4, Meta is rolling out something called Business AI. Basically, it's a chatbot that sits on your Facebook or Instagram page and answers questions on your behalf. It's trained on your brand content and it can respond via text or soon voice. Right now, it's being tested and they're not charging for it. The simple idea, someone sees your ad or post, has a question, and gets an answer from your AI instantly. This is useful for 2 reasons. 1, it makes social ads more interactive, like having a live rep, but automated. 2, it opens up some low effort lead gen opportunities. If someone's already interested and just needs a bit more info, this kind of interaction could close the gap faster than a form fill ever could. Number 5, Meta's ad tools are getting more hands-off, but more powerful. They also announced upgrades to their Advantage Plus ad tools, which are powered by their internal AI models. You can now feed the system a mix of influencer content, product images, and branding, and it'll test different combinations to find out what works best. They're even starting to generate ad creatives using AI, like background images or simulated product shots and different body types. In one internal study, they said these AI-driven ads saw around a 22% higher ROAS than other standard campaigns. It's worth paying attention to. Not because you should hand everything over to the algorithm, but because it's getting harder to beat the algorithm manually. At some point in time, fighting the machine might not be the best use of your time. Number 6, Adobe and LinkedIn are teaming up on AI-generated content. At the Adobe Summit this week, they announced a deeper integration between Adobe's Gen Studio and LinkedIn Ads. It basically means you can generate LinkedIn-ready creative, ads, emails, visuals using generative AI while staying on brand. This is useful if you're running campaigns with lots of variations. Think targeting different industries, regions, or job titles. The AI can take your base idea and spin it into multiple versions, all within the same brand framework. It's not going to replace a good creative team, but it can take care of the repetitive production work and free up your team to focus on ideas that actually move the needle. Number 7, LinkedIn quietly added a new data sharing setting. If you go into your LinkedIn settings, there's a new toggle, Data for Generative AI Improvements. It's turned on by default. It means that AI can use your posts and actively help train its own AI features, like suggested content or automated replies. That might be fine for you, but if you're managing a company page or posting a lot of proprietary content, it's worth checking. The setting applies to both personal and company level content. Just something you should be aware of. And finally, number 8, a lot of marketers still haven't adopted AI. A new Gartner study came out showing that many marketing teams still aren't using generative AI. at least not in a structured way. The reasons vary: a lack of time, a lack of skill, or just not knowing where to start. If that's you, you're not behind yet, but this is a good time to start to run a few small experiments. Try using AI to draft some blog intros, or repurpose content into different formats, or analyze campaign data. Do something with AI. Even light use can give you the edge. Not because it's flashy, but because it saves time and lets your team focus on the work that matters the most. And that's another edition of the AI news that every marketer needs to know. If any of this was useful, feel free to subscribe or share it with someone who's trying to keep up with this stuff too. I'll be back next week with another rundown. Thanks for hanging out. And if you're experimenting with anything cool in AI and marketing, I'd love to hear what you're working on. Connect with me. Until next time, we'll see you later.